Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Tuesday the 16th of September. This video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. It is purely demonstrate how I try to read the market using technical analysis and my experience with market movements and patterns and so on. All right, let's start with Tesla today. That has been on a streak. Started late last week, broke above the resistance. We talked about it, and then it shot higher to very close to the resistance area around 428, 430 in this area here. Sellers took control from the get-go. It was also 200% of this correction here. RSI is still in a positive sentiment, no divergence, indicating actually that we could push higher in the coming weeks after a potential correction. So what I will do, I'll remove this one now. And if it takes out this top and reversal candle, which it actually is, then we are in for higher levels on Tesla. But for now, I think that we will see it sliding back a bit over the next couple of days, some profit takings, and maybe then we will have another go at it. Just very quickly on Microsoft. Microsoft tested a minor resistance here at 515.53, just a few cents below it. RSI knocking on the door to the 60 threshold. If we get a close above both, well then we are back in a bullish trend, and for now we basically put it into neutral, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it pushing higher here the next few days. So this correction here could be over. We're just in a negative territory on the RSI, but well, the buyers would have none of it, and seems to pushing higher. I think it will be a struggle though, but again, all moving averages are rising, indicating likely higher levels. On the overall indices, we had Nasdaq up, quite strong push yesterday. Again, jumped higher. Really, buyers are in a frenzy here, which is a little bit unusual for September, but nevertheless, maybe it's the prospect of lowering interest rates and so on that is pushing higher. I think we will see fairly shortly the 138.2 projection being tested, and we can check the pre-market. That's where we actually is at the moment, or just a few pips from it. Positive sentiment on the RSI, however, you can see there is some divergence here, so it looks a little bit stretched, but again, trust the trend. However, I wouldn't be surprised to see a correction kicking in fairly soon, but when will that be? We'll need a top and reversal in place to get that warning sign. On the S&P 500, also higher yesterday, above the 161.8, pushing towards 6,655. Seems to be the next one. We got above 6,600, so really stretched, but again, trust the trend, and we are pushing higher, and I don't have a top reversal pattern in place just yet. On the other hand, the Dow Jones couldn't follow through, so it seems like the some of the old school stocks and banks were struggling a little bit, so it was almost unchanged. Let's just have a quick look at the S&P 500 Dutch pre-market, also pushing up even further there. Be careful if you're jumping on now. It is quite stretched, but again, trust the trend. The Asian markets, yes, it was up this morning and also made a new high there on Hang Seng 161.8 projection at 26,605. Were just touched. Looks a little bit stressed also, but again, could push higher in the coming days. So buyers are still around, but it is a little bit stressed, as you can see here. Also, even if I adjust, you can see the peaks are declining. So there is indication of trend exhaustion. We just need a top reversal in place for a correction. On the Nikkei, pushing higher. Here's the future, continuing to pushing higher after market close, and at the 138.2 projection, could push higher to 161.8 at 45,314, which is not unlikely. European markets yesterday, especially the EUROStoxx50, were quite strong. and touch this resistance there at 5,444. RSI testing the 60 threshold, but it is already in a positive sentiment. So I think it will just be a formality that it will push higher. And here pre-market, we can see what it's doing. It is pushing higher here. Also pre-market, so I think that the resistance will be broken, and we are in for a stronger push towards the previous peaks here around 5,510. Let's see if we get there, but for now it seems like it's in the cards. The DAX, on the other hand, is still struggling. Yesterday it was up a little bit, but it was not convincing. Still negative sentiment on the RSI, so it's really struggling below the cloud, below the 100 moving average, which is rising though, but the 55 is really sliding lower or moving lower. 24,064 is a resistance. I think if we do close above that, then also possibly the RSI will close above 60 threshold. Then we have a possibly potential to these previous peak here around 24,400. Pre-market up a tad, but again not very convincing on the DAX index. So that's not really doing much for the investors. Moving on to the FX market, and your dollar testing the resistance there at 117.90, peaking just above. I think we're just about it. And what we can see here, if it really gets a push above and RSI back above 60 threshold, then we could see it pushing towards 119, and we can of course guesstimate how much it could move to. We have a Fibonacci at projection at 119.40, and on the weekly we have here around 119 and a change, that coming all the way back from previous peaks there. So keep an eye on that. It could also be rejected and slide back. Sterling dollar is above resistance here at 135.90, pushing higher. RSI back above 60 threshold, was already in positive sentiment, and so it seems to be pushing higher. Could push towards 137.45, these previous peaks there. And as we can see on the weekly chart, 137.5 in this region, where we have, let's remove this one, it's a little bit obsolete at the moment. So in these peaks here, there's potential to that for sterling dollar, or cable as it's also called. Euro sterling on the other hand, just humming at the 61.8 retracement, again dipped lower, bounced back. So it is still holding on, but the big one is of course down here. That's the big support at 86. If it takes out the lows there and pushes lower, so really can't make up its mind what it want to do. 55 moving average rising, so it should push higher, but they can't all push higher at the same time in the same rate at least. So it's about a timing issue also. Dollar yen, still this range here between 146.20 and 149. Sliding back this morning here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we test first of all the lower part of cloud and also the lower rising trend line and 146.20. I wouldn't be surprised to see that scenario play out. We have the 200 moving average coming down here, and we have the 100 come over here. So it boxed in here for quite some time. I expect that. I expect that. Euro yen. Well, the range seems to be range bounding also here between 172 and 174. I think if it takes out the to the upside, then there's potential higher. But for now, it I think will be range bound here in this region here. It's not a clear direction. However, of course, we are higher high, higher low, higher high. Is it a higher low? And will we get a higher high? That is the key question here. Can't make up its mind, it seems. So wait for breakout. RSI not giving us much. There is divergence indicating the uptrend was in exhaustion mode. So let's see if it can break the falling trend line, maybe that could push it higher. Aussie yen coming in with a correction we talked about yesterday. There was a risk it would do that. I did expect it to touch the 138.2 projection here at 98.60 before it did with that correction, but it seems to kicking in a little bit now, possibly down to the 97.40, and then I think we will have another bounce and push higher towards 99. Still positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence at the moment, indicating it should crawl higher in the coming days or weeks after correction. All moving averages are rising, so underlying trend is also bullish. Sterling yen, well, it closed above 200 and it almost got up to 201, so it really has broken that RSI back above 60 threshold again. So should crawl higher towards 202. You can see here on the weekly what we're talking about. I mean, it's levels back from mid last year that we are in the area now. But I wouldn't be surprised if it tries to get back, if sellers try to push it back below 200, could spike lower. But we are in a slightly weak bullish trend. Aussie dollar, well, touched the resistance there at 66.80, and then I think we'll have a little bit of a setback, but bullish trend is still intact, and I think it could push higher if it takes out the peak there from yesterday. It could push higher to 67.2025. If it takes out the lows, so I would use yesterday's higher lows for direction. If it takes out the lows at 66.20, well, then we're in for a larger correction down below 66, down to 65.70 area. But still, RSI positive, a little bit stressed though, but I think we could push higher. The dollar Canada, let's just adjust it there. Dollar Canada set back to the 100 moving average. So what I will do this for now. Okay, and just to give me a little bit of guidance. Interesting, it couldn't push higher to the, still believe we will do that, but we are at the 786 retracement just above it, and the 100 moving average at the cloud. Still positive sentiment on the RSI, but that was a big let's move here. I think we will bounce, maybe test it a little bit and then bounce the next few days. However, there's no one saying it couldn't get back down to the strong support here at 137.20, and if it takes it out, then we have a completely new picture with a shoulder like pattern or something. But let's see. The sterling Canada touched the previous peak there, and at 188.30. Sitting back, and I think now we could see it sitting back. So what I will do, then I will do this here instead, and I think we could see it sliding back to the 38.2 at least at 186.68, possibly all the way down to 61.8 at 185.68. So let's see. That was a rejection. However, if it takes it out, well, then we are looking for levels towards 190. On the Swiss pairs, Euro-Swiss, still this 93 level there. Could bounce a little bit. Still positive sentiment telling us it should push higher, but it's not really convincing, I would say. And what I will do, I will put in a horizontal line. So, okay, if it takes out that level there at 94, well, then we are looking to test these resistance levels here again at 94.50. But it's not really the cards at the moment. Can't really make up its mind what it really wants to do. So basically just sideways rates trading again. Also there, it's a lot of sideways range trading on the FX market, and that's the name of the game. I mean, 75% of the time it's just sideways range trading. Where market really not doing anything. Here, dollar Swiss, I think it will test the support there at 79. RSI negative sentiment, and currently below, again below 40 threshold. I think it will take it out. I also think we will see dollar Swiss testing the lows here at or this spike down there at 78.70 and possibly lower. We are in a downtrend, as we said, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows. So it is likely to push lower. Dollar index already taking out the support there. I tested it yesterday, we talked about it, and pushing below the support and next one is down here around 96, and we also have the 138.2 projection of this correction move here at 95.64. So it seems to be pushing lower here in the coming days, and there could be medium to longer, a little bit longer term, down to around 95. So let's move on to gold, where it was warming up for a correction a few days ago, but it didn't really materialize. It was just a pause, and yesterday buyers came back in and pushed it higher, and now we can see it is pushing higher towards 37.15, 37.35, which is first of all the 786 projection or extension of this triangle-like pattern here. So what I've done, I measured from the top to the bottom and added to the breakout price and then projected higher. So that's that could be the energy given to that. Also, and just a normal Fibonacci projection from the top to the bottom and just straight up, it's 161.8. So they're very close to each other. I think we will reach that level fairly soon. I already said it some time ago, but I did expect a little bit larger correction than what we had here at the past week or so. So it seems to be that the way it is moving. Also, silver pushing higher towards the 43 and a quarter, 44 and a quarter resistance area. That stems back all the way back from, and let's show it here again, these levels here. I think we'll reach that fairly soon. We see RSI above the new high here, canceling the divergence, indicating likely higher levels. On platinum, platinum still trying to catch up. It hasn't done it. I think it will do it eventually. Positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating likely higher levels. And it could still take it up to the previous peaks up here, but it needs to take out the spike up there. We see that the moving averages are not that convincing, but they are all rising, so I think eventually it will push higher. Copper is also crawling higher, did it so yesterday, so it's crawling in this rising channel here, pushing higher. Very close to test the 60 threshold. That would be key here the next few days. Can it actually close above or not? If not, then it will slide lower. But it is being dragged higher, or being lifted a little bit with the moves in the precious metals market. So I'm not quite sure we will get into a bullish sentiment, but at least we are still in this bullish trend. On the energy market, well, WTI crude oil still in this falling channel, white one. Yes, let's see, maybe it can test the upper falling channel there, of upper falling trend line. However, we have the 100 and the 55 moving average coming down there, kind of putting a lid on it. So I don't think we will see much of it here the next few days. Could still slide lower. Brent crude oil, basically more or less the same picture. It is $65. That is key support. European nat gas trading around the 61.8 retracement there at 32 euros. It's not dollars, it's euros. And could be bouncing, so we are in this range here. Needs to take out either to the upside 33.45 and eventually also then 34 up here, or if it takes out the lows from yesterday, then we're looking at 31.60, possibly lower. The US nat gas bounced from the support there. Quite interesting. It didn't spike down to the 61, and it spiked from the support there. And these lines are a little bit more important than the Fibonacci lines, to be honest. 267 bounce from it, and so we are stuck here. So that's so we are now. You had the range 320 and 266. Moving on to the interest rates and yields. Still in bouncing mode. We still have this bullish engulfing pattern here. I still believe we will see it bouncing up to this area around 412, 413. If it takes out the lows here from last week, then we are looking at much lower level. Let's have a look. Then we could see it spiking down to these lows here at 385 area. European yields, let's have a look at that. European 10-year, well, just dancing around this rising trend line here, and 270 could do that for a while. I still believe it would jump up to 274 with this 61.8 retracement. Key support 263. UK, well, 460 or 459 to be exact. Support there. If it takes it out, then we're looking at levels around 450. I still believe it'll also bounce higher towards 475. The Japanese 10-year slowly crawling higher, and we are just in the area of 61.8 retracement of 160. I still think we will see it crawling higher. Still positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating it will push higher here in the coming days and weeks. On the crypto side, well, not much to report really. Bitcoin dancing a little bit sideways. If it can push up to 118,000 and maybe also above this level, 117,930, and we can get RSI back above 60 threshold, well, then there could be potential up to resume uptrend. Really, we have a slight uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, but it's not that convincing. But could push towards 121,000 area, but we need RSI to get back up there. Ethereum is setting back the past few days, a little bit unexpected, but still positive sentiment. I could imagine it being range bound in this big area here for quite some time, between 4,000 and up to 5,000, and can't make up its mind due to the fact that RSI has been declining, so it's actually trend exhausted. It just can't really, so it's a little bit hard to read at the moment. However, if it takes out the spike up there at 4,770, I always add a little bit, then I think we'll see a push higher above 5,000. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day, and talk to you again tomorrow.